Wrestling podcast never felt this great. Tables, ladders, chairs, they tell it all. From the highest highs to the lowest fall. Grit and glory tales from the ring. Every chant, every cheer they'll bring. Devon and the Duke bring the heat. Wrestling tales knock you off your seat. Tune in now, don't you be late. Wrestling podcast never felt this great.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Devon the Duke podcast. This is a limited edition series hosted by, the black guy with the podcast, according to Disco Inferno, Duke Loves Rasslin, and of course, the man who is a 5-time Hall of Famer. He is a YouTube sensation. He is a man that everybody in the wrestling world with a podcast can't stop talking about, and a dirt sheet, by the way. Brother Devon Dudley, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Black guy with a podcast, man.
I heard that. I was just like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Not
okay.
A guy. Not a guy.
Now I wonder, did he hunch down and look around first? Because you know how they do it, because the word black can always be a little scary to folks like that. So I'm walking down the street and then they hunch down, they look around, and the black guy. So I wonder if he did one of those when he said, "Oh, the black guy with the podcast." It's like, okay.
Well, you know what always threw me off a lot of times, amongst the African American community, if we have a problem with, let's say, the opposite race, we don't signal out what color that race is. We always say that guy or that woman.
Bingo.
But it's weird how, the opposite race will always say that black guy or that black woman or what have you. It's like, why can't you just say black guy or black woman? Why do you have to make it a black guy with a podcast, or a black guy did this, or a black guy did that, or a white girl, a black girl, went crazy and did this and did that. It's like, why do you have to specifically specify that the color of the race of the person when you're telling the story? That I never got. And I've said that for years.
Well, and you know what it portrays, because they're the same people that will then turn around and say, why does everything have to be about race? Right? So why does everything have to be about race? But I'm the black guy with the podcast. Got it.
And you know what the funny part about it is? I was being accused of saying stuff on the show, and it wasn't my words, it was your words. Whether I agree or disagree or not, I'm just like, wait a minute. Now, if you're going to call me out on things that I said. Don't call me out on things that I didn't say.
Imagine that.
It was like you couldn't tell the difference between who was saying what on the show that week. But, it is what it is, man.
Well, which is interesting because I'm from Boston and you're from New York. How the hell could anyone mix this up?
Exactly. I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Oh, my God. Folks.
And some of the comments that I was reading, it said, it would say, Devon said this and, Duke said that. And the majority of the stuff that he was being had a problem with it, you had said it. I actually barely said anything about him. So, again, it was one of those things where, okay, don't tell on yourself.
Wow. He did that and then some. Folks, we're Keepin It 100. This is the podcast that Conan, Joe Feeney III, and Disco Inferno have. Last episode, we talked about a segment that they did where Disco was very adamant about the fact that despite what Jim Ross said to Devon, I don't like you because you're black, I don't like you because of the color of your skin. Disco wasn't going to bury JR, and he's not going to pile on JR, and people say things and that was over 20 years ago. And as you get older, you get more conservative. So, but he's not going to pile on JR, which was a very strange response. So, Devon and I spoke about it last episode, and then the Keepin It 100 guys, because it went viral, they had to answer to it because their audience wanted to know, hey, there was a response to what you guys said. What do you think about this? Now, to Joe Feeney and Conan's credit, they made it crystal clear where they stand. They don't appreciate the comments.
Yeah.
They don't think it's right. They feel it, bad that Devon had to deal with that. Conan went on to talk about racism from a general standpoint and how crappy it is and things he's experienced as a Latino and his parents have gone through and what have you. Kudos to him. But then Disco, he just completely doubled, tripled, quadrupled down and made a bigger fool of himself. I'm paraphrasing here, but Devon, am I getting it right so far?
I mean, I would say you are. I mean, the thing about it is, big up to Conan and Joe. I heard the response and they were saying, and me and Conan have been friends for years with a lot of respect for each other and this and that. And not that he had to come to bat for me, but, his thing was, so what? It happened 25 years ago. The fact of the matter is it was said. And, you're not African American, so you don't know how that feels to actually go through that and to have it bowl into your body, like in the pit of your stomach for so long, and then for it to actually come out. And again, I wasn't the one that really called it out in a sense. If you watch the podcast with me, Maven, and Bubba, I didn't want to say anything. I was gonna still keep it on the down low because of the fact that I figured, the man is not doing well health wise, so why kick a man when he's down? I wasn't trying to kick anybody when they were down. I was just expressing how I felt during that time of everything that happened. So, again, it's a subject that really should never ever go viral about something like this because it's bad. It's not good. And the fact that it was said and done, it did go viral, and people wanted to know more about it. So I'm sitting up there going, okay, well, you know, might as well just let it all out now. And that's exactly what I did. So for those that have a problem, I'm sorry you do. I get it. He was the face of the Attitude Era and he did what he did, but he also did something wrong. Listen, help me with the name because I always get this guy's name wrong. Weinstein. Am I correct?
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein. Yeah.
Right. What he did was many, many years ago to these women. And that one woman came out and called him out, and it started a whole triangle effect and trickled down, where now people in Hollywood have to take accountability for their actions and what they've done over the years. And, again, for him, for Harvey not to apologize or say anything back then, and to only probably say, he regrets whatever. If he did say that, I don't know what he said. But for him to, whatever, now because it went public and it kind of ruined his career in a sense, where, he's no longer in the entertainment business. And even if he wasn't in jail or what have you, nobody would ever want to do business with him again. And, I'm not saying that anybody shouldn't do business with the guy, but, again, it was said, it happened, and, sorry, I was in a bad place, like Hogan. I was in a bad place. He tried to explain himself, and a lot of people, even when he tried to explain himself, still weren't accepting it. And this and that. And like I said, I, forgave the man. I didn't forget, but I forgave him because he didn't have to come to me and say anything to me, but he did. He pulled me aside and told me, Devon, I'm sorry. And at that point, I'm nobody in the business. And when I say that respectfully. In his eyes, I could be nobody compared to who he would have to answer to, is what I mean when I say I'm a nobody, in his eyes. But apparently I am somebody in his eyes. I was a friend and what have you. And he was very hurt and bothered by it, hurt me by what he said. But again, and no qualms about it. I didn't forget what he said, but I forgave him because he apologized and this and that. And there seemed to be some sincerity when it was said. But again, I've done things in my life, like I said, that I'm not happy or proud about, and, if I ask for forgiveness, I hope that person would forgive me and we can move on and know the sincerity in my voice. If I am sincere about whatever I've done in the past, it could be forgiven. But, again, it is what it is, man. I'm shocked. And, as everybody else who found out what was being said, but, It is what it is, man.
It is what it is. And I mean, just to put a button on this Keeping It 100 Disco Inferno stuff as it relates, folks, you could go on YouTube and you can Google Keeping It 100 Devon Dudley, and you'll see the two clips that we've discussed, right? So you'll hear for yourself, and you'll read the comments, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. Disco just completely made a fool out of himself, and he was trying to backtrack, and he was trying to explain away, but he just made it worse. Let me say this. I've been doing this podcasting thing for almost 10 years now. It'll be 10 years by the time we hit WrestleMania. Consistently. And for folks who know the brand Duke Loves Rasslin, you know, I've only taken a couple of weeks off. I think I've taken maybe 7 weeks off total in 10 years, which is crazy. So that means that new content has come out every single week, less 7 weeks, right? I've always confronted racism. I've always talked about that. I've never made any bones about the fact that there are challenges that people have faced in the wrestling industry, and we've had wrestlers come on and talk about it. You know, Rodney Mack and Jazz talked about their experiences in racism. Ron Simmons, Booker T, Devon Dudley, you know, and those are just the bigger names. Those are just the Hall of Famers. We're not even in the legends. We're not even talking about all the indie kids who've talked about it. And I just named just black wrestlers, but we've had them all. My point in saying that is, it's not new hat for me to broach these subjects. Now, Devon Dudley, everybody else with a podcast who's a pro wrestler is allowed to talk about their experiences and what they've dealt with in the past, how they feel, set the record straight, especially from their point of view. But for some reason, Devon Dudley can't do the same thing. Devon, I think these folks are concerned, especially folks like Disco, that we're kind of shaking the foundation of this pro wrestling podcasting thing, because you have two credible people who do not have a reputation for lying and who can intelligently talk about these issues in a manner that is so relatable that even people outside of wrestling can listen to what we're talking about, follow along, be engaged, and then carry the conversation forward and what have you. I mean, Jesus Christ, Ricky Smiley, who I don't think he's ever identified himself as a hardcore wrestling fan. Ricky Smiley covered our show and talked about things that we talked about. So, you know, Yahoo, whoever, TMZ Sports, yada, yada, yada. Like we are leading a lot of discussion in this space, and it's catching on. Mainstream is paying attention to it. And I think that concerns a lot of people, which is why, you know, for me in particular, I'm the black guy with the podcast, according to Disco. He reduced me to that. As if anyone else's name, Duke Loves Rasslin. I mean, give me a break. You know what I mean? Even before you and I ever spoke, Devon, you had heard the name enough times that you made a connection. Okay, that's somebody. That's somebody. You know what I mean? I wasn't just a black guy. Like, what the hell is that? But I think we're shaking the foundation, because here's another thing that he said, and I want to get your take on this. He said, well, I think Duke is just stirring up Devon. As if you don't have your own opinions and you don't have your own feelings about these subjects that you experienced your damn self. I got to stir you up, bro. What is that? It's crazy.
No, I don't think anybody has to stir me up.
Yeah. It's crazy. But
Yeah,
you know
it
what?
is.
There was another dirt sheet guy that said something similar. That low life Sean Ross Sapp, when he reported on you and the NXT situation, he completely got it wrong. He lied on you, him and his people. They completely lied on you, and I called him out for it. He said, well, it's Duke stirring up Devon. So it's funny how these white guys in this space continue to have an issue with you speaking up, Devon. So it's all love when you're talking, you know, ha funny stuff and things that used to happen in the locker room and joking around. But once you start talking about trauma that you've experienced, suddenly we got a problem here, right? It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. We know who you are. We know what you are out there, folks. And here's the best part. We're not going to stop, because the people are listening and they want more. So take that for what it is. You know what I mean? But moving on, congratulations to TNA. It was announced this week that TNA just signed a new television distribution deal with AMC, the AMC network. So starting in January, TNA Impact will be airing on AMC. Devon, you just had an incredible match with the Hardys, you and Bubba. And leading up to that, it's been some of the hottest stuff in wrestling in 2025. How do you feel about TNA landing that big television contract?
I love it. On Testify Devon, which is my Instagram, I said, congratulations, boys. Keep up the great work. Knock it out the park. I'm very proud of TNA. Listen, for a company that had both feet in the grave, dirt poured on them, and was really almost done, they freaking jumped out of that grave quick, regrouped, and got themselves together, and really now is doing good business. Big ups and kudos to Carlos. Forgive me for not knowing Carlos's last name, but he is the guy that's running the show over there. Him and Dreamer doing a great job, especially with the collaboration with NXT and TNA. I'm very proud and happy. I wish I was 10 years younger, where I can get back in the ring and really work with those guys. Because, man, the storylines that the Dudleys can be doing over there with them would be great. It really could. But, again, I'm very happy for those guys. And, I really, really hope that they can take the stars and make them into superstars and really, really give that network, good ratings and everything. I mean, I can go on and on, but congratulations to TNA.
Congratulations. You were talking about TNA president Carlos Silva, who is a great guy,
Yes.
as you know, and he has a lot of respect and admiration for you. He's gone on record many times talking about it and how much he appreciated the Dudley Boyz doing that match with the Hardys. So that's fantastic. It's just it's great. And the AMC network as a network, I mean, that's where The Walking Dead and all of those spin-off series, it's on that network. This is a big time network,
Right.
man. You know what I mean? So for TNA to land in prime time on AMC, that's huge. That is a big deal.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah, they all should be proud. And listen, it's not lost on me that the partnership with WWE has certainly helped put them over the top.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anytime you collaborate with WWE, people are going to be watching and looking and and wanting to know what's going on. So again, very happy for those guys. Thank God for WWE for helping these guys do that. Now, the question is, would that have happened with Vince in charge? Don't know. I don't think so. I mean, again, we talked about it on my podcast with Vince Russo, how Vince did not acknowledge any other company that was out there. Even when WCW was kicking their butts in the ratings in the 90s, he still didn't acknowledge them. That they were even a company that existed. And I believe that because I worked with Vince and, even with AEW, it was like he didn't acknowledge them, even though they were coming off strong and doing what they were doing in the very beginning. He just didn't acknowledge them as being a threat or a force. So when I used to hear people say, oh, Vince is scared of AEW, I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. Because in Vince's eyes, no company is better than the WWE in his eyes. And that was his creation. That was his baby. So I know that for a fact that wasn't the case, because the man has said it numerous times. Well, if he said it numerous times, then it must have been bothering him. No, you have to know Vince to know. You have to do business with Vince to know that just because he mentioned it doesn't necessarily mean. And I can tell you this, and I agree with Russo, is that he wasn't watching the show. He probably had other people. There was other people probably watching the show, informing him of those things. But Vince didn't know. He didn't know, and nor did he care. and it was sad. I mean, we were talking. I did a podcast. Unfortunately, this is not going to air, and I do apologize to the fans. But at WrestleCade, which was really really good for me, even though I had been there 3 years in a row, and even with Bubba being the last year, I remember telling my agents, I was like, "How the hell am I gonna make money over there? I've been there 3 years in a row, and I was with Bubba. Everybody's got my autograph already, but people still came out and taking pictures. Some people said, "Hey, I took a picture with you last year. I just want to get another picture with you this time around," and blah blah blah. And so, I was very happy with that. But getting to this, what I was going to say is that we did a podcast with the with the Hardys, and I'm so upset because the guy, we got a videographer that came in to help us set everything up, and the Hardys had it was like a Hardys party that they announced there at WrestleCade, and they had a room set off for the party, and Jeff did his thing, and and this and that. And the thing about it was, I hadn't even told the Hardys yet. I'm going to tell them today that the videographer was trying to use the system that was there um, in terms of sound. And because of the fact that he didn't hook it up right, there was no sound with me and the Hardys. My producers called me and told me, I was like, "You're kidding me." He's like, "I got good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first?" I was like, "You might as well give me the bad news." He's like, "All right, the interview that you did with the Hardys, the videographer messed up. He never checked the sound, and we got no sound on the interview." I was like, "You got to be kidding me." And we worked so hard to get the Hardys. Um, because their schedule was conflicting, my schedule was conflicting, and we never could meet up. Matt Hardy came up with the idea, why don't we do it at WrestleCade? We have a room, we can set up, we can set things up and this and that. And we were like, I was like, perfect. And we had everything going. We did an interview before them too, which is going to air this week with Enzo Amore and oh God, my brain.
Not Big Cass.
No, Big Cass. No, Big Cass is in AEW, so I don't think
Yeah, good
I
point.
would be
Yep.
able to use him.
Yep.
Steve Carino.
Ah, King of Old
It
School.
was
Okay.
like it was yeah, King Olsen. So it was like the old generation meeting the new generation. And I say new generation with Enzo because he is really part of the new generation.
Mm.
And it was like, I'm interviewing both of them at the same time. And it was like the new, collaborating with the old. And, it was a really cool interview. I hope everybody likes it and enjoy it when we drop it this week. But I'm very disappointed that we weren't able to put the Hardys out there. We're going to try to do it again. Again, I haven't told Matt and Jeff yet, but I'm going to text them and let them know that unfortunately we can't air it because there's no sound.
It happens. That's the tough part about production, brother. It happens.
Yeah.
If it can happen to WWE, it certainly can happen to your team over there. So that's all right. You'll get another shot. You'll get another shot at that. Shout out to the Hardys. Shout out to WrestleCade. I know that a lot of people said that they had a fantastic time this year, which I'm going to be
Yes.
honest with you, Devon. I'm very surprised considering the challenges with the economy right now. So, kudos to these wrestling fans who they saved up their money. It's around the holidays, and they say, you know what, we want to spend it on meeting some of our heroes. That's pretty cool.
Right.
So love to all of them. Thank you very much for showing up. That's a
Yeah,
big
and again,
deal.
I agree with you. It's this economy and the way it is, it's very rough for a lot of people. People losing jobs, people getting furloughed because of the shutdown of the government and things like that. I mean, we were all feeling it,
Yeah.
But again, you believe in God and you put your faith in God and know that you'll get through it. It's a bump in the road, but you'll get through it. And a lot of them got through it. I mean, the smiles and the way people were reacting, to everybody that was there, not just me, but all the other guests, that were there. People were the talent was very happy and very thankful for the fact that the fans came out and was able to show their love and support, not only grateful for the things that we've accomplished, but even financially, So kudos to those guys at Wrestle K for putting on a great show, great talent being there, and again, it was a really good time.
Yeah, I love it. That's great stuff there, and certainly keep that train rolling, man. Because I love that. That's
I don't know. I
fantastic.
may I may have to stay away for a little bit because again, I've been there 3 years in a row,
Ah,
so I
well,
may have to.
shoot.
Now that'll be four, so we got to give it a break.
Well, there's always new people though. There's always new people who may not have gotten to it this year. They might be there next year. Now, hold on. We'll work on it, Russell K.
Mm.
Don't worry. We'll work on it. Speaking of working on it, the tournament to determine who will face John Cena in his final match.
It's gonna be
So,
me.
okay, breaking news. Reverend Devon has dusted off his collar and he's showing up.
Now Devon Dudley might have retired, but Reverend Devon didn't.
Now wait, are you going to do the little show the bop that you would do when you come out as Reverend
Man,
Devon?
listen, I was trying to do that in TNA, and I was clapping hands, high fiving people, saying hello to my family. By the time I got in the ring to get ready to do it, the song was over. I was like, damn
Oh
it.
no. Oh
Last
no.
time I'll be in the ring and I couldn't do it.
Do that little show the bop. I'm like, what is this man doing?
I tried, but the song ended. I was like, damn.
I
So I
love
settled
it.
for doing the Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. You know,
No, I'm not, no, Dirt Sheet Riders. I'm not facing John Cena. That was a joke. I'm not doing
you
it.
know they're
Although
gonna
we
run
had
with it
some
now.
great times. Yeah, although we had some great times with it. Um, you know, but no, that I will not be doing that. So hate to put it out there so you can put it on your dirt sheets and pretty much say, well, Devon said this, Devon said that. No, I'm telling you that it was a joke and don't take everything you hear seriously.
Well,
Although I
listen.
had a great time wrestling with John during Reverend Devon days, and I brought this up last time. We had a match. I had a match with John Cena on Velocity. Oh no, it was SmackDown, where Shane McMahon was the one that produced it, and it was really cool. It really was cool. And I remember Vince didn't like it because he said we were going too fast. And I've seen the match. I was like, nah. Especially when you look at the way wrestling is now,
Mm,
that match wasn't too fast for that at all. But I guess for that time, and Vince doing what he was doing during that time, I guess it was too fast for him. So I don't know, but I enjoyed every time I got in the ring with Cena, and at the time I was the veteran, he was the rookie. But again, and he showed nothing but respect for me during that time, and even when I came back in 2015 and we teamed up with Cena, he still showed that respect. The three fingers up in the air. He had been doing that since we left, and Bubba had asked him, pulled him aside, and said, "John, 3D, we used to do that and this and that. Do you mind if we continue to do it?" And Cena said, "I got it from you guys." He was
wow.
like, "By all means." He's like, "I can't do it. I got it from you guys." And
Wow.
he was like, "By all means, do it." And we were like, okay, cool. So the respect that Cena has is just really great. This is why he has had the success that he has had because he's a good guy. He looks out for other people and it's just John being John. He could have said, no, man, I'm using that now, and this and that. But no, he said, listen, I got it from you guys. So by all means, do it.
That's a hell of a story. Wow. I never knew that. Never realized that, but it makes perfect sense. You know, well, the tournament has been whittled down to Gunther versus LA Knight. So next week's Raw, those guys are going to battle, and then the following Raw, excuse me, the following Saturday night's main event will be Cena versus the winner of Gunther and LA Knight. So what do you think there, Devon? In terms of those two guys being the final two, and one of them are going to be the ones that
I
face
would
Cena?
I would love to see Cena and Gunter.
Yeah,
I think LA Knight would be more of an entertaining type of thing. Him with his LA Knight with his character, and then of course Cena with his. I think that'd be more entertaining. But I think wrestling wise, I would love to see Cena and Gunter. I have so much respect for Gunter and his style. If you would have asked me when Gunther first came in, did I think he was gonna last that long, or did I think he would get over the way he did? I would have said no. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of these wrestling fans don't respect that type of wrestling nowadays. They want to see the high flying and all of that crap. And I've always respected Gunter from day one, taking that old school way of wrestling and making it into today's wrestling. I gave that man so much credit when he first came in. I remember I was doing a live event and he was on the card a few times. And I said, Gunter, I said, I hope you get over like $1,000,000. I love your style. Excuse me. I love your look. I love everything about you. I said, these fans would be foolish not to accept you because your style is not flipping and flying and the entertainment value of it. He's learned how to not only do his style, but incorporate the entertainment part about it. And that's what I love about Gunter.
It would be a classic Cena match if those two tangle. It would remind me of young Rusev going up against Cena. You know what I mean? Very much in that
Yes.
regard. And
Well, I think
Gunter,
Rusev was more of a powerhouse type of. It
sure,
was like Ivan Drago meets Cena,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this
in
was,
that aspect.
but correct me if I'm wrong, because you know both guys. Gunter is bigger than Rusev, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah,
taller in a sense.
yeah,
The thickness might be thicker than Rusev now because Rusev dropped a lot of weight.
sure,
He dropped some
sure.
size and really got into that what's that I used to like to call it, that men's fitness type of shape.
Mm,
Before he had that 1980s type of, not 19, like the not 1980s, the 1990s, like, that big guy,
yeah,
that
big barrel
big
chested.
burly guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like
And
you.
now he's got the ooh, listen. I lost a little bit. I watched him watching Bound for Glory and then watching other shows. I'm just like, damn. When I was in TNA in my heyday, I was, man, 10 times the size I am at Bound for Glory.
Yeah, yeah. You're a big boy. You're a big boy. No question about it. You know. But yeah, I agree. I think at this point, if you're going to narrow it down to those two guys, let it be Gunter. It's classic heel versus babyface. Put Cena in danger, and we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we know it's going to be a good match, regardless of who walks out victorious. That should be fun. That should be fun. You know what was fun? Survivor Series, and I know that a lot of people complained about it. They didn't necessarily feel it was the best PLE, which I disagree. I felt it was fine. I'd give it a B minus, quite frankly. But Cena versus Dom for that Intercontinental Championship. I watched John Cena bump for Raquel Rodriguez. I watched him bump for Roxanne, who's like a little fun sized girl there, but she was able to do a move on Cena. Cena was bumping and feeding for Dom. I just literally so unselfish. He gave everything in that match. It was entertaining. It was fun. It was exciting. In the end, Dom wins. He gets the Intercontinental Championship back. Finn Balor and JD, they interfered in the match as well, so they got to get in the mix. It was a fun match, but the thing I kept focusing on is, wow, Cena's putting all of them over. So like the whole Judgment Day faction got a chance to beat up on Cena in that match, which protected Cena. Dom cheated to win. Dom wins. All of them got a chance to do something to Cena on one of the major pay-per-views of the year, or PLE, I should say. Just from that standpoint there, Devon, what do you think about Cena on his way out, and he's putting over, what, 6, 7 people in one match like that?
He's not selfish. John has never been selfish a day in his life in this business. He's always been there for the underdog, for the guys that are beneath him. And when I say beneath him, I mean guys that is not on the same level, star power wise, as him. Cena has always been like that. And that's one of the reasons why I love Cena, because he's been that way his whole career. Even when he wanted to do something and Vince said, no, I don't think you should, he would always advocate this is why I think we should, and blah blah blah. Sometimes Vince would say yes, sometimes he would say no. You'd have to get Vince on a good day, during that time. But I don't know, man. I really, really, I didn't see the show. So I've seen clippings and things like that of just about every match, war games, everything. So I really didn't see the match in its entirety. I am gonna watch it today, um, and watch it for myself. But every report that I hear about that match was fantastic.
Yeah, it really was. It was fun. It was exactly what we needed in terms of, sometimes pro wrestling just needs to be pro wrestling. It doesn't have to be deeper than that. The
Yeah, I
heel
agree.
and the baby faces are doing battle. Heels are doing heel stuff. Baby faces doing baby face stuff, and it's just pro wrestling. You
Yeah,
know, it's you and I were talking about this offline, but for the people complaining about it, and I get it, everybody has their taste. I'm no different. We all are critics because we all are consumers, so that's okay. But I just want to put something out there, folks. Every time I have a burger, I don't need it to be A1 Wagyu beef that was, whatever, grass fed, yada, 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 on a special brioche from France. And I don't need all of that every time I have a burger. In fact, 9 times out of 10, when I have a burger, it's okay if it's just a basic McDonald's hamburger. And I know that sounds crazy, but think about it. If you always have the top of the line, the greatest thing you ever tasted in your life, it's no longer the greatest thing you ever tasted in your life. It's not special anymore. It's just
right.
it's normal. It's just what it is. You end up actually getting sick of it. So I just want a McDonald's hamburger, and then on those special occasions, those rare occasions when I go and I get the $20 burger, the $30 burger, which is crazy, but they exist. Then it's like, oh yeah, and it feels good. Every time I watch wrestling, I don't need it to be WrestleMania 3. I just need one, maybe two really good matches. I need entrances and I need storylines advanced. If you give me that, I'm satisfied. Now,
Right.
if you give me WrestleMania 3, fantastic. You know what I mean? Then that's great. But if I got to watch WrestleMania 3 every time I watch pro wrestling, I'm probably not going to watch pro wrestling anymore because I can't do anything else. I can't talk to my lady. I can't, be online talking trash. I can't take a phone call. I can't get up and go get my snacks or what have you, get another beer or something. I got to watch this amazing thing. And it's like sometimes you just need something on that's good enough to keep enough of your attention. And that's it. Again, it advances. So Survivor Series advanced a ton of storylines, which I think was fantastic. They gave us that Cena and Dom match, which was fantastic. I'm more than satisfied with that. And I think a lot of you who are dumping on it, you need to really take a look at yourself and think about it. Do you really want a high spot, something that has you on your feet the whole night and just exhausted every time you turn on a PLE? No, stop it. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong here, tell me I'm wrong, bro.
No, I don't think you're wrong. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna watch it. I heard the John Cena and Dom match was excellent, and they told a great story. Was probably the best match on the card that night.
No doubt.
So I'm really
Yeah.
excited to see it. And again, John is like I said, he's never been selfish. He's always wanted to help out the guys that were underneath him to elevate them to his level. And why not do that now? He's on his way out. Dom got a great rub. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. He got a great rub. Roxanne got a great rub. Like I said, like you said, he was bumping for her. And
Yeah.
Raquel, I mean, Raquel's a big girl. When I say big girl, I don't mean fat or anything like that. No, I mean she's a big girl, strong, thick, strong girl, and always been that way since she's been in the company. So my thing is, why not? Why not help them, get to that next level? And it was great. And they even took a page out of The Rock and Cena turn. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Cena and
Cody.
Cody turned, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I mean,
eyes. Yeah,
you know, yeah, with
Liv Morgan.
what's her name? Live with Live.
Yeah,
So, you know, in my opinion, that's great, man. I mean, Cena is doing the right thing. No one can ever say he's selfish. He's done the right thing, like I said, since day one. That's why I've always had respect for him. And even when, you know, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. If there was a catch, if it was a thing that people were doing just to do it because, you know, it was entertaining and, you know, to get, you know, a saying and to be involved in it, then so be it. But I also feel that if anybody honestly thought that Cena sucked, maybe they weren't really watching his matches and seeing what that man really did for the company.
well said. Well said, 100%. Shout out to everybody involved there. Fantastic stuff. Cena, it's sad that this is the last time we're going to see you wrestle because, quite frankly, you're doing some of your best work right now, man. Hands down.
Yeah, he really is.
You
Cena's
know,
doing, I think, a lot of the work that he's doing now. It's just amazing.
yeah, yeah. To perform at that level, and you can speak from experience. Uh, Quite
Yes.
frankly, you know, to perform at that level at this stage in your career is just it's like wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Another incredible thing, special announcement here. Trick Williams, very good friend of yours.
Hmm.
Trick Williams and Lash Legend are officially engaged.
Yeah, congratulations to those two. I'm so happy for them. You know, I like Lash. She's a very, very nice girl. You know, I've spent time with her in NXT, got to know her. Very a sweetheart, very just really good person. And Trick, you know, I've had my stuff with him and great guy, and you know, it couldn't happen to two better people. You know, congratulations to both of them, and I wish them nothing but the best. But I will say this. Let Reverend Devon do the ceremony.
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna go for. Let me do the ceremony. I'm
Yes.
gonna give him a call. I'm gonna say, listen, I'll be very upset with our friendship. I'm gonna tell Ashley, tell me, listen, I'm gonna tell her, I'm gonna say, listen, you have to let Devon do the ceremony.
I love it. I love it. Why not? Why not? I think that's a
Come on,
great
legend.
idea.
Come on, legend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Let's do it. Let's listen. You know what's interesting about her, Lash Legend. Um, I watched her in the NCAA tournament, and you know her last NCAA tournament, she was with Mississippi State, and they took on Notre Dame, and that was Skylar Diggins, who was part of that Notre Dame team. So it was those two ladies. You know, Lash Legend is obviously her WWE name. I think Anriel Howard is her regular name. But those two ladies were the two stars for their teams, and in that game, Lash Legend legitimately is an NCAA women's basketball legend. She holds rebounding records. She was a monster on the court. And it was incredible because she's so gorgeous on top of that it's like, wow, this beautiful woman is just like you couldn't touch her out there. You know what I mean? She
Mm-hmm.
commanded the paint. And unfortunately, she got injured when she made it to the WNBA. So that kind of, who knows what could have been. I truly believe she would have been a Hall of Famer in the WNBA had she not gotten injured because she was absolutely one of the elite. She's one of the top players in the country by far. So I know her career before WWE. To see her turn into who she is now, and they got her paired up with Nia Jax. She was in that women's War Games match, and she looked incredible. And she did a great job in the match on top of that. I'm just telling you, man, I am so high on Lash Legend. I wish her nothing but success in her career and in her personal life because she is just she's class personified. And I know a young man whose father actually coached her. So it goes deep. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, I really got a lot of time for her. And Trick Williams is, you know, same exact thing. Fantastic human being, fantastic athlete, doing a great job in the WWE. The fact that those two, you know, linked up together, it's just like Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. You could tell grounded people. They're both, you know, they have a relationship with God and they're serious about that. They're serious about family and values. So you see good people like that link up. It's like, man, thank God for that. You know what I mean? It's beautiful, and I love Black love too. So that all the above, all the above. It's a beautiful thing. Wish them nothing but success. So did you know that she was that good in the NCAA? Did you know she was that serious?
I just found out when they got engaged. I saw it on Twitter, and people started bringing up stuff about her career. I didn't know about it until I saw it. Just recently, actually. I didn't know it.
She's a legend, bro. Like she really is a legend. That's not a gimmick. That's who she is. You know.
Wow, that's something.
And
Good
I'm
for
going to
her.
predict this. When she gets her big moment, like when she starts really winning championships, headlining and what have you, I think those articles in mainstream will come out more talking about her career in basketball. And that's really going to turn people like, whoa, oh, we're dealing with like
Hmm.
the real deal here. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
cool, man.
Yeah.
It's cool. But I agree. You should be the one officiating that ceremony. I think that would be fantastic, actually. Um,
Lash, I'm telling you, I'm Lash, the trick. Come on now. Let the right Reverend Devon do his job. Now,
please,
we
please.
haven't had a we haven't had a good wedding on WWE TV in a long time.
Listen, that would be perfect. As long
I
as
think the
Bischoff
last
ain't there.
one,
As long as Bischoff
yeah.
ain't there.
He might listen. He might have his own new version of 3 Minute Warning come out and
Exactly.
sabotage it. God rest the original 3 Minute Warning. Man, it was great. Bischoff would come out when you knew a moment was happening. All of a sudden, here comes Bischoff. You're like, oh God, what is he
Yep.
gonna do? You know
Got
what?
3 minutes.
It's about time. It's about 3 minutes, and that music would hit, and you would see Rosie and Jamal come out. Oh God, it was nerve wracking, especially when they did it to Mae Young. I was like,
Oh,
they're
that was
not going to.
yeah.
I think I might have been in TNA at the time, and I was watching. I go, they are not. And boy, let me tell you something. Mae Young took that splash like a champ, and that
Sure did.
Samoan drop. Oh God, God rest her soul.
She handled it.
Excellent.
She handled it, Just like you guys putting it through the table though. We could blame you for that. Huh?
No, no, blame her, man. She was the one that wanted. Look, she could have easily said no. I'm too old to do this, but she said no. Let's go on the top of the cage. I was like, you are crazy. I looked at her
Crazy.
and I said, listen, you might whoop my ass now for saying this, but you are nuts. I
Mm,
was like, I don't even want to go on the top of that cage. I
crazy.
remember, I
Shout out.
believe when wait, did I go through the door? I think I might have went through the door when the Hardys and the Dudleys unified the title. I don't think I climbed the cage. I remember Aces and Eights when we came and did the run in on Bubba and Jeff. I remember climbing the cage then. I remember right before we opened up the doors and we started, whatever. They were like, "Let's see how fast you can get up there and get in the cage." Man, I ain't climbed the cage since I was 7 years old. I remember trying to. I I remember going to climb up the cage. I was like, "This ain't gonna work, guys." And Bo was like, "Devon, you got to climb the cage." I was like, "Man, I don't forgot how to climb a damn cage." And eventually, after a couple of tries, I got the swing of it, put my feet inside the cage, in terms of the little divots in between, and use my upper body strength to pull myself up. Man, it took everything in my power to do that.
We're gonna put you
Because
on
I
one of them
am,
shows, man. We're gonna put you on one of them reality shows now. Now we know you can climb a cage.
yeah, no, no, see, no, you can't do that.
No
See, every
Ninja
time you
Warrior.
talk, something happens. No, every time you start talking, things start happening. It's like you and Bubba. I told Bubba I ain't answering his phone call when he calls me because I know exactly what that means. And just like you, I ain't listening to what you saying right now. I ain't climbing. I'm like B.A. Baracus on the A-team. Hannibal, I ain't flying no plane. I ain't
I
getting on
love
no
it.
plane. I ain't going on no cage.
I love it. I love it. No, man, Ninja Warrior, give me a call. I got somebody for you.
No,
I got
you
a Hall
don't.
of Famer for you. No, you don't.
No, you
notice
don't.
how notice I'm volunteering you, not me, right? I'm volunteering you for
I
that.
see that. I see that. Shoot, the first thing I do on that, I'll be like, nope, can't do it. Sorry.
Can't do it. No, no. I'm about to take the night off. Can't do it. Speaking of can't do it, I don't know if you've seen this yet because it just dropped, but there is a documentary on Netflix that 50 Cent and his production company produced, and it is about P Diddy.
Oh, Diddy, I heard about that. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it.
Man, I watched it, and I'm going to tell you right now, everybody, you got to watch it. They have footage of Diddy a couple of days before he gets arrested. I don't know how 50 got that footage, but literally Diddy was documenting himself. He had a team recording him, and he was talking reckless because he thought he was going to get off. He thought, no, we're going to figure it out. We're going to get out of this and what have you. But you could start to see that he's realizing, oh, I'm about to get arrested any moment here. And he was just talking reckless. And then they interviewed a whole bunch of people, including his best friend when he was a kid, all the way up to people who were involved in the trial. I'll just say this, man. You got to be careful who you choose to have a problem with in life. 50 Cent and Diddy got real problems with each other. And that piece on Netflix, I would not want anyone examining my life and putting it out there the way that piece did to Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Because, brother, it was incredible to see. And if you ever had any, he's Diddy. Nah, you walk away from that. If you feel good about that man walking away from that, then something's wrong with you. That dude is a monster. It is what it is.
All that money, I don't get it.
Well, here's what I was looking at, and this is why I bring it up, because I'm not trying to spoil it, but I will say this. His father was a big-time drug dealer and a hustler. Some even say he was a pimp. His mother clearly was involved in that type of lifestyle, and even after the father passed away, she wasn't 100% on the level, let's say, because one of the friends said we used to drive around the Cadillac with his mom, and she'd stay in the car, and she'd jump out and come back a couple minutes later and then go to the next spot. She was picking up money and moving things and doing God knows what, right? I truly believe Diddy was raised to be the kind of person that he is. At one point, one of the guys said, people who were raised in trauma, you're going to be able to tell, yeah, that's what that is. And people who are raised in love, you're going to be able to tell, yeah, that's what it is. Now, we all go through trauma, and hopefully we all experience love. When one is more than the other, it will manifest in you as a human being, especially as you become an adult. It's going to come out one way or another, man. That, brother, it's just trauma. And unfortunately, that's what he inflicted on so many other people. And it's sad when you look at it from that perspective, because it's like, what could he have been? Because he's a talented person. What could he have been if he had more love instead of all that trauma?
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
Do you think Biggie knew it?
Absolutely. Well, here, I'm glad you asked me that question.
And hold on, before you go on and answer it, some are even speculating that it was Sean P. Diddy that had him executed in a sense, because Biggie knew. That's what some of the reports I had heard when all of that was going on, because he knew the type of lifestyle Diddy was doing. Do you believe that?
I will say everyone should watch the documentary because that's covered. They talk about that and they lay out the facts. They lay out the facts, which will definitely bring you to a conclusion based on the facts. So I'll say that.
Where do you watch it?
On Netflix. It's on Netflix. And it's the number one thing on Netflix. Okay. So as soon as you turn on your Netflix, you'll be able to you'll see it right away. It's up there. It's number one. But I'm glad you asked the question though. If Biggie knew that Diddy was as crazy as he is, I had a friend of mine who was an intern for one of the big record labels back then, and I'm talking like he started interning not long after Biggie was murdered. So he was around certain executives and around people who were in the industry and stuff like that. And he said something to me back then I thought was interesting. At one of the gatherings, one of the executives was like, Biggie was trying to get away from Diddy. He was trying to start his own
Yes,
label.
I heard he had. Yeah, his own label. Yep, that's what I had heard.
Start his own label, do his own thing. He did not want to be under Diddy anymore because he felt like he wasn't getting paid properly, and he wasn't. He should be making more considering how big he was at that time as a music act. Fast forward to recently,
That's
and a guy by the name
insane.
of it is insane. A guy by the name of Lance Unrivera, who was Biggie's business partner. And he just did an interview recently where he acknowledged, he said, yes, we were starting our own label. It's a fact. And I was the person who was handling the paperwork. So that's how I know it's the truth. Biggie was getting away from Puff. So
And
when you
they
ask,
said the same thing. I don't mean to interrupt. Oh, go ahead.
well, no, when you ask the question, do we think Puff had anything to do with what happened to Biggie? It's like, when you look at the way that guy carries on in general, especially when he can't control people anymore, and you'll see it in the documentary, so many examples going all the way back to when he was a kid. It's hard to know that those things, which are facts, by the way, these are not speculations, facts. It's hard to know that about a person and then not look at the Biggie situation and wonder, wait a second, were you upset that this guy was going to leave you? And so you made it so it was at least possible for something to happen to him? I don't know.
Right, because some even speculate that Suge had something to do with Tupac because he was leaving and wanted to start his own label and stuff like that. And they even, I guess, they showed it in the movie. When he went to Suge and told him, he said, "Listen, I want to go on my own. I want to branch my own." Then Suge brought him into a room and said, "This is yours. This is going to be yours. You can start your label, but still work for me."
Wow. That's scary to think about that, man. People wanting to control you to the point where they will literally kill you if you try to leave them. That's crazy. That's
Well, I
crazy.
honestly believe in some. I saw something on Instagram. They did interviews, and I forgot the guy's name. Forgot the guy's name. Very well renowned guy, um, in the hip hop world and this and that. I forgot his name, but he was saying how Michael Jackson was pretty much killed because of him owning so much power in Sony,
Sure.
owning the Beatles catalog and things like that, and he never wanted to give it up. Michael Jackson was one of the smartest men in the music business ever.
Yep.
So for them to say he was broke, how could you be when you own the Beatles catalog? Not only that, but you also would, own half of Sony. And for him to, when Eminem did that video and made fun of Michael with his nose falling off and in the bed jumping around with the kids, Michael didn't, do a song and go after Eminem. He freaking bought the rights to Eminem's music. And every time that song was played, Michael got paid.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And I agree. I think you're talking about, I know Charlemagne the God on the Breakfast Club, which is a radio show. I know he said that. He said everybody, he believes that Michael Jackson was taken out by far. And some others have said the same thing. And I agree. I think that.
And Conrad Murphy was basically a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll take it, do some time. We'll take care of your family. You'll never have to worry again. Hell, you'll never have to practice or need to practice again if you do this.
Well, we know that them old school record execs were tied to organized crime, which is how they were able to control people the way that they were, because they had the muscle behind them to do it. So it's not too far fetched, but definitely, folks, check out that documentary on Diddy on Netflix. 50 Cent produced it. It is eye-opening. And again,
yes,
I don't know if you can walk away from that feeling good about Puff, then I don't know what to say to you out there, folks. Something ain't right. Last one. We'll end on this note here. I had sent you a clip from Nightcap, which is a show that Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco do. It's on YouTube as well. And they were reacting to an interview that a guy by the name of Trayvon Boykin did. Now, Trayvon Boykin was one of the backup quarterbacks for Russell Wilson for the Seattle Seahawks. years ago. Remember when the Seahawks were out there, winning championships and always in the hunt and what
Mm-hmm.
have you? Boykin was one of the backups. One Thanksgiving, Boykin was invited to Russell Wilson's house, and Boykin went. And during this interview, he's talking about this thing that happened in the past, but he's saying he thought it was weird because there was hardly anybody there. It was just Sierra and her daddy and young Future, which is Sierra's son that Russell Wilson adopted and literally raises as his own kid. And then the nannies and the dogs and what have you. And then Boykin. But he was like, it's Thanksgiving. How come your family ain't here? And there should be a lot of people here and yada, yada, yada. All this garbage that this guy is talking. Never mind the fact that the man wasn't at his own family's house for Thanksgiving. Never mind the fact that, it's Thanksgiving. And, Russell is not from Seattle. So in order to get your family to your house when you're on that level, you'd have to fly everybody in. Well, what? People don't have jobs and lives? They're going to just pack up and have to go to where you're at? Because he couldn't go to them. It's during the football season. So there's a million and one reasons why it wasn't a big turnout for Thanksgiving that year. And yet this guy's out here crapping on it. I wanted to get your take on that, Devon.
I think Shannon Sharp said it best. This is why you don't invite people to your home, even if they consider themselves to be good friends or what have you, because things like this happen. So what? He didn't have family there. Like you said, anything could have happened, but yet why do you feel the need, even if something did go down with him and his family, why do you feel the need to have to go in public and express that you thought it was weird because he had no family there? To me, you doing what you're doing, that's weird. The man invited you into his home, and now you go and try to make controversy out of it. I'm not sure why he felt the need to do that. And, people are just burying him left and right because again, he invited you into his home. Whatever people that were there, his friends, he still invited you there. And why couldn't you just enjoy yourself and stop thinking about why isn't his family there? There's a million and one reasons why. And it doesn't have to be bad, but there's a million and one reasons why that could have happened. But yet you took it upon yourself to go public and say things like that. So, again, I can't blame Russell if he came out and said something after that because it's wrong. You don't do that. You don't disrespect somebody that way.
It's crazy. It's absolutely
It really
crazy.
is.
And what kills me is that during that time period, Russell Wilson's sister, Anna Wilson, first of all, she won a championship, the NCAA championship in women's basketball in 2021. She was a McDonald's All-American before that, two-time Pac-12 All-Defensive Team, Pac-12 Co-Defensive Player of the Year. She went into the WNBA. This young lady was the real deal in basketball, right? She's a star athlete just like her brother is, just in a different sport. Families can't just pack up and go across the country and do God knows what and what have you like that. It don't work like that, especially because, again, everybody has their own lives. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Russell Wilson is very close to his family. Bought his mom a house. He would go to his sister's games, the whole night. Even to this day, they are very tight-knit, God-fearing, loving people. Safe people. This man invited you, backup quarterback, one of the biggest stars in the history of the NFL, one of the most accomplished players, and he's a black quarterback. And a lot of these black quarterbacks today owe a lot to Russell Wilson because they're basically playing his style, right? Which Russell was playing an offshoot of Mike Vick. We can go down the list there. But it's like this man invited you into his home and showed you what kind of person he is. And you, Mr. Boykin, are going to trash that? It's, that's weird, man. And where's all the family? And he had it catered. And this dude was talking crazy. But you weren't with your family.
Wait a minute. How come you weren't at your family's?
That's it, right?
That's what
That's it.
How come you weren't at your family's?
Backup,
so should we talk about you?
Quarterback. Never did anything in the NFL, by the way. kept getting into trouble, and teams didn't want to deal with him. Been arrested a bunch of times. Last time he got arrested was on a domestic violence charge, beating up his woman, and he actually did some time for that. Let's talk about Mr. Boykin. Because Russell Wilson, all we hear about is the family man, the husband, star player, God-fearing man above all, right?
Yep.
It's jealousy. But your own people, brother, your own people will do that to you. You know? There is a lot of people that talk about the fact that Russell Wilson is guarded and he doesn't have people over, and even with his phone number, he'll call you from a block number. If you want to get in touch with him, you got to go through an intermediary, and then they'll get you in touch with Russell. And at first, you're like, wow, that's kind of weird. But then you think about it, it's like, well, it ain't so weird.
No, because look at what happened when he let his guard down a little bit.
That's it. And Shannon and Ocho, like you said, they did a very good job in expressing those sentiments too. Like this is why you don't let people in your business, because look at that. You know what I mean? Terrible. But Devon, you're a pretty famous guy, and it's funny when I say that to you because you try to shy away from it, but it's the truth. I mean, you're a television star, and you have been for over 30 years. It's got to be hard, man. It's got to be hard, and I empathize with the fact that for you to let anybody into your world and let down your guard and really talk for real, because you and I, we have some real conversations about life, and we've shared a lot of personal stuff that will never be revealed to the public and what have you, about life. And we've shared a lot of personal stuff on the show by far.
Right.
But I don't take for granted the fact that you've let me into your world, because I understand that at any point, somebody can and will stab you in the back, especially if they know your personal business.
Absolutely,
you know what I'm
they
saying?
will. They do it all the time.
They do it all the time. So this guy, Boykin, doing that to Russell Wilson, it's so disappointing, man, because it's like, wow, no wonder the brother doesn't want to deal with people.
Now, let me ask you this. What has happened since all of this? Have the media, I know the fans have been burying him, but how much backlash has he gotten from this?
Oh, 100%. He's mud. His name is Mud. And that's how we found out that the guy is a criminal, and he got a rap sheet that's fairly long, and most of it centers around him not being able to control his temper. People wouldn't have dug that stuff up if it wasn't for him making a fool of himself like this. You got to be careful when you point fingers at people, because then that's going to make everybody look at you too. Well, wait a second. Who are you to say that about so-and-so? Let me look at who you are. It's great. And listen, Russell Wilson, it ain't like I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I can't stand Russell Wilson for what he and the Seahawks did to my Cowboys through the years. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't like I'm over here kissing his backside. But I will say, as a man, that man takes care of his family. That man always gives glory to God. That man adopted his stepson. That's a solid dude, man. His lady was having problems with a record label, Sierra, and he said, well, start your own. And she was like, yeah, I want to do it. And he said, okay. And that was like the gift. She got a chance to start her own label, and he helped make that happen. That's a good man.
I don't get it.
So you let the backup come in and be around your family for Thanksgiving, your immediate family, and this guy's out here years later talking trash.
Please. I mean, if you ask me, he deserves everything he gets from the social media standpoint. If they're really coming after him like that, because it's just wrong.
Yeah,
it's wrong. You don't do that, man.
Yeah, he earned it. Yeah, you don't do that. In that moment, Russell Wilson was doing what God commanded him to do. He was helping a brother, right? It's not like that dude had to pay for it. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like the dude could never do nothing for Russell Wilson if he wanted to, right? So he was just helping a brother, But clearly Mr. Boykin doesn't have God in his life, because you saw the way he's acting, and I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, brother, what's the best way that folks can keep up with the Hall of Famer Devon Dudley, especially that hot YouTube channel you got going on there?
Well, there you go on the YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, Devon Dudley YouTube. Enjoy the videos. Leave your like push that like button and leave your comments down below. We read them all, and we basically, want to keep the fans happy and give them what they want. So we don't ignore it. My people are on it left and right. They inform me of everything that's being said, and we don't acknowledge I haven't seen any negative stuff, but we don't acknowledge it, and we won't acknowledge it, and we will not put it over for one bit. So if you're going to be rude and disrespectful, please don't even waste your time, because it's not even going to, chances are I probably won't even get to see the rude comments. But, like and subscribe, leave your comments down below. And you can also watch me on Testify Devon on Instagram, and Testify Devon on Twitter. And I'll say this again, I really don't go on Twitter as much anymore. I use it for my basically promoting wherever I'm going to be in the events. And that's simply because I'm not really a Twitter guy. I have it, and the reason why I haven't gotten rid of it is because of all the followers that I have. So in order to try to reach those who I can't reach on Instagram, I can reach them on Twitter.
Yeah, it's a promotional tool that's worth keeping, but I agree it can be a cesspool. And the way that Elon, since he's taken over that company, the way it's going on that site, I don't know, man. It's
Listen,
crazy.
I'm watching a video, and I'll scroll up and scroll up, and all of a sudden there's porn on there. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes.
When the hell did porn come on there? And I mean, this is full blown porn. This ain't like something like you watching Playboy and they cover up. This is full blown, having sex. And I'm like, wait a minute, you guys did everything possible to get rid of the porn sites when you go on your phone to look up porn. You got, you have to be 18 years of old or older. Of course you do. But it was now you have to go through all of these hoops and hurdles to even try to, I guess look at porn. It shocked the hell out of me. One day I'm scrolling and I'm seeing these people having sex. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, when the hell did Twitter turn into porn? And I'm like,
It's
you got to be
crazy.
kidding me. And I started asking people this, and they started telling me, like, yeah, it's like we see it all the time too. It's like, wow. It's like, okay, I see how this goes. I'm like, the government has done everything possible to stop you from looking it up otherwise, but yet you can go on Twitter, go click on a video and scroll up, and bam, it's right there. I'm
It's
like,
right
that
there. And
it doesn't make any sense to me.
It's one thing if you were looking for it, but the fact that it just jumps on your timeline without you even have to look for it is crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It
So
really is
I
crazy.
agree. I agree. Folks, Duke Loves Rasslin on Facebook, on Twitter, DukeLovesRasslin@gmail.com. As always, let me know what you think of the show. I will acknowledge this comment that I saw on YouTube. It's really the biggest complaint that I saw, Devon. One guy said, hey, love the show, what have you. Devon, can you tell your kids to stop making so much noise in the background? That's what the person said. Now, here's what I'll say to that. And no disrespect to whoever made the comment, but clearly you're not a parent, number one. And if you are a parent, you're not an active parent. The fact that you can hear Devon's family in the background, the fact that when we're talking and stuff and Devon's coming and going and doing things and taking care of his business and what have you, that's the best selling point of the whole thing, because it shows that this megastar who's been famous on television for over 30 years is actually a regular human being. Great dad, great family man, great businessman. And he's taken time out of his life to share some of his perspective about his career and what's going on in the world. And that's what you get on these podcasts and on the YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm going to say it right now, Devon, I don't want you to ever stop having people talking in the background and stuff like that. So,
nah, especially when it comes to my kids. You know who taught me? You know who taught me that?
Who's that?
Kofi Kingston. I've done interviews with him. I've seen him do interviews, and his kids will, right in the middle of him saying something, come right in on this, sit on his lap, and this and that. Listen, it's the love that you have. I understand what you're saying in a sense, but at the same token, that's just showing another side of me that you don't know. And I'm a very family-oriented man when it comes to my kids. I don't allow anything or anybody to tell me about my kids. Just like I'm sure if you have kids or you know someone that has, or you grew up in a big family, that I'm sure that you wouldn't appreciate if somebody said that to you. So I'm not mad. I mean, I just don't think they understand, and, again, with the schedule that I have and what I do, for me to be able to still do what I do, but still have my kids in the background, yes, you're going to see that. You're going to hear that. Sorry.
It's funny when you and I, just before we started recording, you were literally coming from the gym to doing something for your youngest, and now you're
Yeah,
taking some time and doing this. Boom,
exactly. I mean,
boom,
I had
boom,
to
boom.
stop at the daycare. I had to stop at the daycare and drop off some clothes. My 2-year-old kept having blowouts, man. Oof. Man, I took him to school today. He had a big blowout. I was like, oh,
Wow,
come on, DJ. I was like, I was
you're feeding
just
them all
getting
that
you into the.
protein.
Oh, I was like, man, he's just laughing. He's smiling at me. Like, he know what he's doing. He don't do it in the car ride up. He don't do it at home when we're about to leave. He'll do it right when I pull up to the daycare to drop him off. I'm like, DJ, come on, man. And he just smiling and cracking himself up.
You got to keep you busy, man. That's what it is. He's keeping you young.
That he is. Let me tell you something. At 53, having a 2-year-old, it's wild. But yet, you know what? I'm enjoying the hell out of myself. I'm enjoying my little peanut and my 2 daughters, 5 and 7, Talia, Amaya, and DJ. They are my world. And so are my other kids, Terrence, Terrell, Matthew, and Preston. They are my world too. But, there's something about those last 3 that basically just brings so much joy because I'm reliving what I did with the other 4. I'm reliving it all over again, and it's fun. I enjoy it. I really do. Most people's like, "Oh my God, you start over." Yeah, for you, it's "Oh my God." For me, I'm having fun.
I love it. I love it. And again, there's no question about it. Devon the family, man, it's who he is, and that ain't never going to stop.
No,
So,
it'll never
you
stop. I'm
know,
sorry.
that's right. Take us out with a word for the week, brother.
All right, so this is what I'm going to say. When you're trying to confront somebody on things that were said about you, please make sure you get the right person right and don't accuse somebody that didn't say anything about you. Just make sure that your information is solid before you go out there and start running your mouth and saying what somebody said when they didn't say it.
Ooh, testify.
My brother.
Strictly for the culture every day. Stepping style in your unique way. Patterns and colors so defined. All about the perfect line. Be yourself, let your spirit fly. In this fashion, you'll touch the sky. Strictly for the culture, brand so fine. Dress to impress, then show your shine. Strictly for the culture, every day. Step in style in your unique way.
Visit www.strictlyfortheculture.ca.
Backstage whispers and the crowds roar. From matching giants to legends of yore. Devon's wisdom and Duke's keen view. Every episode feels like it's brand new. Devon and the Duke bring the heat. Wrestling tales knock you off your seat. Tune in now, don't you be late. Wrestling podcast never